Hello and welcome to Premier League Live this Saturday lunchtime. It's great to have you with us to kick off another Premier League match week here on LFS. It's great to have you with us for this one. And starting our weekend of action, it is a West London derby as Chelsea host Fulham at Stamford Bridge. Let's have a look at all of the games across the weekend. To start here this lunchtime, 4 3 o'clock kickoffs today. Burnley head to Manchester United. United looking for their first win of the season. We'll see if they can get that a little later on. Sunderland host Brentford, Bournemouth head to Tottenham, and Wolves host Everton. They're all 3 o'clocks. Then you can join us to round off your Saturday action a little later at Elland Road as Leeds United host Newcastle United at 5:30. And then a triple header for you tomorrow. 2 o'clock kickoffs. Brighton and Man City is our feature game. Nottingham Forest West Ham is also a 2 o'clock kickoff. Then we head to Anfield as last season's top two face off in an early season battle at Anfield. That's tomorrow at 4:30, and we round off the weekend before the international break with a trip to Villa Park tomorrow evening, a 7 o'clock kickoff as they host Crystal Palace. We start this afternoon with my predictions. As we always do, here are my predictions for the weekend. Pick out what you think is great and what you think is rubbish out of those predictions. Some interesting ones there this weekend. I've tried to mix it up a little bit to try and cause some shockers, and we'll see what comes of those predictions. As well, this afternoon we're going to talk a bit more about the transfer stories, and we'll get to all of that a little later on. But it's first to the team news here at Stamford Bridge. And we start with the home side in Chelsea. Well, it was a tough start to the season against Crystal Palace here 2 weeks ago, but a thrashing victory over West Ham last Friday night means they come into this brimming with confidence. Sanchez starts in goal, Malo Gusto continues at right back, Trevor Chalobah and Tosin are the centre-backs alongside Marco Correa. In midfield, Moises Caicedo is alongside captain Enzo Fernandez, João Pedro's in the 10, Pedro Neto's out on the left-hand side, young Estevao is on the right, and Liam Delap leads the line. No Cole Palmer once again for Chelsea after he left the field early against West Ham last weekend in his warm-up. On the bench for Chelsea, Jorgensen, Achiampong, Fofana, James, Hato, Isugo, Santos, Gittins and George. And one man who isn't in the Chelsea squad today, but he's here at the bridge, Alejandro Garnacho, almost completed his £40 million move from Manchester United to West London. Well, we take a trip down the road, and it is Fulham who face Chelsea today. Just a little trip between these two football clubs. They start with Bernd Leno, the captain, in goal. A back four of Kenny Tete, Joachim Andersen, Calvin Bassey and Rand Sessegnon in defence. Sasa Lukic and Sander Berg are in midfield. In the 10 is young Josh King. Castagna playing out at right wing this afternoon. Alex Iwobi off the left. And Rodrigo Muniz, who scored a late winner here at the Bridge last season. He starts up front for Fulham. On the bench, Lecomte, Cuenca, Robinson, Reid, Kearney, Wilson, Smith-Rowe, Traore and Jimenez. And certainly, Emil Smith-Rowe will be one to watch. He scored an equalising goal against Man United at Craven Cottage last weekend to secure Fulham a point there. It is 2 points from 6 for Fulham. 2 draws out of the first 2 games. Chelsea, 4 out of 6. We'll see who can try and add another 3 points to their tally here this afternoon. It's a West London derby. It's Chelsea against Fulham. Kickoff is next. A very good afternoon. Welcome to you. I say afternoon. It still feels like early morning here at the minute. It is that early on the Saturday, but I hope you're getting used to our Saturday lunchtime action here on LFS and looking forward to bringing you another live watch-along commentary. Well, there's a man in the back who would love to be very much involved in this game, Cole Palmer, in his own clothes and not in the Chelsea gear today. And that will be a big miss for him and his team. But it seemed like they did all right without him last week. That 5-1 victory over West Ham United. We'll see how Chelsea do this afternoon. Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. We're getting closer to 30,000 subscribers, so if you can help us get to that, that would be greatly appreciated. And thank you all for joining us, spending your early Saturday afternoon here with us on LFS. Chelsea in home strip blue and Fulham in home strip white with black trimmings. And it is the home side that get us underway then here in this London derby. We've seen quite a few London derbies. This is actually Chelsea's third London derby of the season. They've only known London derbies to start this campaign. A 0-0 draw with Palace here on match week 1. And then, of course, that thrashing of West Ham at the London Stadium 8 nights ago. And we see how these two sides match up this afternoon. Chelsea with a lot of expectation on them this season in terms of battling for the Champions League. And we'll talk about their Champions League forays, along with all the English teams in the Champions League across this weekend. The fixtures and dates have been announced now by UEFA early this morning on who will play who and when, and we can start to create some storylines from those, and of course some key matchups. It all begins on Tuesday the 16th of September, so do look forward to that here on LFS. Here's Alex Iwobi, out to Sessegnon. Iwobi here in this left channel, driving inside, trying to play it off. He got a lucky bounce, finding Sander Berge, who switches it wide, trying to find Castagna. Nice idea, just a bit ahead of Timothy Castagna on that occasion though. Well, it is interesting that Marco Silva has gone with Timothy Castagna down that right wing. He did it last week against Manchester United, I noticed, and it was kind of like there was a bit of confusion over who was playing where. It was kind of, we were guessing that Sessegnon would play further forward because he's done it before, but it is Castagna who's playing in that right wing position for Fulham. And I think it kind of means as well, if they need that extra body defensively, Fulham, they can have it in Castagna as a fullback, and he knows well that fullback role, but also he's got that quality to get them up the field and carry them forward. Well, Liam Delap was trying to battle for the ball here against Kenny Tete. He ends up sending Tete to the ground. That's going to be a free kick. Aggressive from the Chelsea number 9. Of course, didn't get involved in that bundling of goals against West Ham last week. Put 5 past the Hammers. Liam Delap wasn't involved in any of them. Thanks to him, he didn't quite help my fantasy team. Here come Fulham, though, on the breakaway. Trying to work it down the right-hand side. Well cut out by Marc Cucurella, who spotted the inside runner, and he closed it off. Although Fulham seemingly started the better of the two teams on the ball here in these early moments, as Cucurella is brought down off the ball. And that's going to be a free kick. Sasa Lukic involved in that challenge. And you'll see it again. It was a lovely ball by an attempt of a ball down that right hand side from Fulham. That was well cut out by Marc Cucurella, who was then clattered by Sasa Lukic when the ball was already gone. Marc Cucurella over this free kick then. Back to Tosin. Playing left centre back today, Tosin, alongside Trevor Chalobah. Again, Liam Delap was the target, well intercepted by the Fulham midfield and defence. Bit of head tennis at the moment, is sent forward, poked forward by the Fulham defenders in Joachim Andersen. And well one is the throw in there by Kenny Tete. Anderson all the way back to Bernd Leno. Plays it into midfield. Laid off by Iwobi. Back it goes to Leno again though. Chelsea not looking to press the goalkeeper too intently here. Looking to break the press whenever the goalkeeper plays it out. And he's got caught back here. Leno, he does get it out of trouble. But that was a high press from Chelsea and they've won it back here. Shot from distance. Low and hard. There from João Pedro, and that's straight down the throat of Bernd Leno. But they played themselves into a bit of trouble there, Fulham. Again, Chelsea weren't pressing the goalkeeper, but what they were doing was when Bernd Leno was playing it off, they were initiating the press really intensely after that. And that's how they won the ball back and forced Leno into making a sloppy pass that allowed Chelsea to have the ball again and get it in a good area and have a go at him. Albeit the shot from João Pedro left a lot to be desired, but it was worth a go. Neto trying to work in behind here, and again Tete called into action. Puts it out for the Chelsea throw down this left-hand side. Marc Cucurella will take this throw in. 5 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0. Intriguing start to this game. Both sides trying to battle for the ball. That's a lovely little link-up play from Chelsea there. And finding Liam Delap, whose shot was blocked there. Point-blank range by Sander Berge. And it's going to be a Chelsea corner. Again, it was really good combinations from the throw-in down that left-hand side. It's Cucurella, it's Enzo Fernandez, and it's Pedro Neto. Really good trio link-up down that left channel. And then it works it inside. Liam Delap, unmarked really, as he arrives into the box. And as he has a go, Sander Berge puts his back to the ball and blocks the shot. They take the corner short, Chelsea. Worked out to Chalaba, and then Cucurella tried to keep it alive, but that's going to go way wide for a throw-in there. They came in very hot and heavy there, Chelsea, from the short corner. They almost messed up their own routine. Very frantic there from Chelsea. And there's Cole Palmer. Got a shot of him earlier. He's sitting behind the bench, but still in the mix. He's got the good fit on. So here come Fulham down the left-hand side here with Sessegnon. Broke forward well against Man United last week. There's Iwobi now trying to find a way through, but well cut out as Sessegnon presses to win it back. The long ball up the middle of the field. Intercepted here by Joachim Andersen. He's got into a good area. He lays it out wide for Castagna. Back to Andersen, who has a go! And as a centre-back, you're not the one that's wanted in that area. And he puts it well wide of the goal, but if that was someone more used to being in that position, that could have been a real chance for Fulham. Again, they force Chelsea into making a sloppy pass. They try and keep it alive in the midfield. It's Delap that takes a heavy touch. Andersen sneaks in behind him, wins it off him, lays it out wide to Castagna, who cuts it back. And Joachim Andersen, the space he's got in the box is a bit surprising. And he's just knocked it well wide. It is one which they probably should do better from Fulham. But it's a centre-back in that sort of attacking 10 position. That was a little bit of a shock to Joachim Andersen. He was kind of drifting forward looking, who's going to come and attack me? And no one went to him. And try and challenge him as they play it down the touchline there, young Josh King. And he couldn't keep it in play there, according to the officials. And it's a throw-in to Chelsea. We have EFL action, by the way, for you. The Championship in action. 3 games at 12:30. Middlesbrough take on Sheffield United. QPR hosting Charlton and West Brom heading to Stoke. It is QPR who lead Charlton in the early moments of that game. After they had 7 put past them last week by Coventry, they've taken an early lead in that one. And it is Paul Smith with the goal. It is Queen's Park Rangers 1, Charlton Athletic 0. Still goalless in those other 2 games as well, by the way, for you. In the EFL games. Foul there on Rodrigo Muniz. Tracked all the way inside by Tosin. Wasn't letting his man go. Well, interestingly, Chelsea have lost just 3 of their 36 Premier League games against Fulham. That's a lovely ball in behind though. Cucurella's header was a bit awkward, but it's well dealt with by the Chelsea keeper Robert Sanchez, who was there to help his mate out and make sure Chelsea weren't left red-faced after that moment. But as I was saying, they've only lost 3 out of 36 Premier League games against Fulham, which is crazily one-sided, this derby. That's just 8.3% of their games they've lost against the Cottagers, but that's the joint lowest loss rate of any side against another team in the competition with a minimum of 20 Premier League meetings. Only Man United and Aston Villa have that same ratio. Man United's loss rate against Villa is still 8.3%. So certainly, for all the historics and the derby, it's more a derby of location rather than a derby of big matchups and big results for both teams. Here come Chelsea off the right. Estevao trying to break into the box. And as he tried to lay it off there to Malo Gusto, just couldn't find him. And that youngster, he came into the starting lineup, Estevao, last week for Cole Palmer after he got injured and stays in the side this week. He's been involved in all 3 Premier League games for Chelsea so far this season. Cucurella. Trying to play it through the lines, Chelsea. Nice little step away there from João Pedro. Sees a sea of white shirts in his way as he tries to switch it out to the right. That's a beautiful ball, beautifully taken down by Malo Gusto. Cuts it back to Estevao. Now Gusto again. Gusto left-footed going deep. And this time too deep to try and find Pedro Neto. And that interrupts that Chelsea move that looked like it was developing into something bright there for the Blues. But in the end it just goes behind for a goal kick. Andy in the chat, thank you very much for joining us. Hey man, I'm so glad I got you. It's great to be back from the pre-season Club World Cup. Yes indeed, thank you very much for joining us once again. And he says, and yes, Villa fan, we can have a 10 times better team than Man United and they beat us. And hi Liverpool from Villa, were yours. I mean, if I'm honest, I've always been intrigued by the Aston Villa Man United matchup over the years, because it is, as you say, Villa can have a much better team as they have over recent years, and still it's Man United. They always have some fluky results to Man United, but maybe their luck might be running out after their midweek ventures away at Grimsby Town. But we'll not talk about that right now. Marco Correa over the top here for Chelsea. Delap caught out by the bounce of the ball there. Liam Delap there. And a little bit of pain, actually, it seems. He's pulled up a little bit there. He's okay, but a little bit awkward. Oh, please don't do this to me this week. He didn't get involved in the goals last week, and I thought, right, home to Fulham, Liam Delap's going to start, and he's going to get involved in this. And I swear if he's injured, I will crack up. My weekend's barely started, and it's already probably over at that rate if I lose one of my strike forces. He's going down. It's all over. Liam Delap is gone down here for Chelsea. And it looks like he's coyly looking to the bench. Looks like it's a hamstring issue. That's what it looks like to me. He's gone straight down, holding his hamstring. They'll get treatment on him, but it seemed like after he kind of made that run in behind on that ball and it bounced awkwardly, it kind of caught him off guard. And he kind of slightly pulled up after that. Yeah, we know what's happened there. You could see it right away when a player pulls up when they're running in behind like that. I mean, it's clear. It's clear as day. Their day is done. And that's more good news for my fantasy team. Thank you very much. So they're going to make this change then in a moment, Chelsea. Tyreek George is going to be coming on, the young centre forward. Of course, Nicholas Jackson linked with moves away, and Liam Delap was going to be the main man, but he's going to seemingly be out for a few weeks now with this hamstring issue, it seems. Straight down the tunnel. And 19-year-old Tyreek George is going to be coming on in his place here this evening. So some early season injury issues starting to emerge from Chelsea. Cole Palmer and now Liam Delap. Tyreek George coming on then, and they've no shortage of youngsters in this team, Chelsea. It seems to be the direction they're willing to go. Of course, Estevao, real evidence of that, throwing him in last week, and Tyreek George coming on to replace Liam Delap, whose day is done with that seemingly hamstring issue after 14 minutes here at the Bridge. We'll see what the youngster can offer up for Chelsea this afternoon. Played in both of their friendly games against Milan and Leverkusen in early August. He actually scored in the World Cup, did Tyreek George, in that 3-0 win over Esperance in the Club World Cup. His last domestic goal, listen to this, his last domestic goal for Chelsea was against Fulham. He scored a goal in the 2-1 win away at Craven Cottage last season. It was an equalising goal in the 83rd minute that found Chelsea getting back into that game at Craven Cottage. So who knows? Tyreek George's last domestic goal for Chelsea was against today's opponents. Although that switch ball Was a little over the head of Malo Gusto. And that goes for a throw into Fulham. Yeah, 100%. Liverpool and Villa is always... It's always won me as a Liverpool fan that I never look forward to, because I know what Villa have done to us in the past and what they can still do to us with the quality that they have in their squad. But, yeah, two very tasty fixtures. I've got to say, there's a lot of big fixtures early in the season, and I'm looking forward to all of them, but certainly some exciting ones. The fixture list has certainly kept us with excitement this season. That's a little bit of a loose ball by Chalobah, and Iwobi's worked it in behind here. Josh King makes the move. He's forced out wide by Chalobah, but he's kept the ball, which is crucial. And he works it back inside to Caoimhan Ferris. Sessegnon. Now across to Anderson, and they have to go back to Leno. Anderson over the top, trying to find the ball through the lines. Caicedo's almost played it off there for Fulham. Helped them out, keeping their attack moving. And that's a foul on Josh King by Cucurella. And a free kick to Fulham. Seems like Chelsea have lost their confidence and their concentration a little bit here. Not confidence, their concentration a little bit in the last few minutes. Fulham trying to take advantage of that. And Sasa Lukic is over this free kick here. Wide in this right hand side. It's just inside the Chelsea half. See what they can make of it. And here Fulham. Well, the only time this season that the net has been found, the back of the net's been found by either team here at the Bridge in the Premier League, was a disallowed free kick from Crystal Palace. Lukic's free kick is really, really narrow, really poor. Didn't even quite reach the box on that occasion, and it was headed away by Cucurella. Bassi. Will be there, out wide, as it comes all the way back here for Fulham to Caoimhan Ferris. Back to Leno. Yeah, I think, Andy, in terms of like, I was looking at options, and defensively, I'm still not convinced by Chelsea, if I'm honest. And that's probably why I haven't picked their defenders. The only defender I've picked is Reece James, and that's mainly because he's an attacking fullback. They can try and get involved in the attacking play of the game, whilst also being very strong defensively. But I think I'm still not convinced by Chelsea's defending, and even though I predicted them to win 2-0 here today, you never know what to come from Chelsea. And yeah, we'll wait and see. But I expect Fulham to be a real threat for them today. But yeah, my FPL team's not had a great start. Certainly with Chelsea players it hasn't. Certainly not. That's a good touch there by Alex Iwobi. He's going to go for goal here. And the shot didn't have much venom behind it, and it was always directed wide from Alex Iwobi. Again, the space opened up for him to have a go. He kind of just side-footed it, and it was always going wide. Sanchez had it covered anyway if it was on target, but it's a nice idea from Fulham, but just not the right execution from Alex Iwobi on that occasion. Tosin back to Sanchez, who has to go long with the ball, but he's tried to find that switch ball, and it quite unfortunately for Chelsea bounces in front and over the head of Malo Gusto. He kind of miscalculated that one. Lovely through ball by Iwobi there, held up well by Muniz. Just couldn't play it off though, and that's going to be a foul on Pedro by Lukic, and a free kick to the Blues. I'm trying to find the goal, who the VAR is for this game. Premier League make it really difficult. Here we go. There we go. Just as I said, I find it. Our referee, by the way, is Rob Jones here this afternoon. Our VAR, Michael Salisbury. Of course, VAR very much heavily involved in the result in the opening weekend here at Stamford Bridge. Disallowed goal for Crystal Palace. Berries, it would have been his last goal for Palace at that point. Here comes Neto. Held up by Tariq George, but nicely intercepted by Fulham. Try and use this to their advantage as Muniz does well, and the through ball is played beautifully through, and it's young Josh King that's breaking through. Here's a chance for Fulham. He chops back on the defender. Josh King! And Fulham take the lead. Beautifully carved out counter-attack from Fulham, and they take the lead at Stamford Bridge. They won here late last season. Well, they have first blood and score their first Premier League goal at Stamford Bridge this season. You gotta say it was beautifully carved. It looked like it was gone when Rodrigo Muniz couldn't hold it up. But they win the ball, Chelsea. They give away the second ball. And it's beautifully played through. Josh King making a break in behind. And the youngster is the one who in the end comes up with the goods. It was beautiful play. It was composed play. And from such a young player, he has put in a wonderful performance there. Again, Chalobah's gone down. He's wanting a foul. There's nothing in that for me. He needs to be stronger. If in my opinion, really needs to be stronger. And even at that, Chelsea aren't exposed. But it's a beautiful ball. I'm trying to see who played it. I think it might have been Sander Berge. But what a pass that is. Just blaze it in behind for the young man. Fabulous little run. And then the intelligence to chop back against a big defender in Tosin. And then go near post. All the calmness and composure of an experienced centre-forward. And he's just 18. Chelsea 0, Fulham 1. And Marco Silva doing a Jose, doing an Arsene, doing whatever manager, running up the touchline and hugging his subs. Chelsea 0, Fulham 1. And it is Josh King to score the first goal at the Bridge this season. Although they might not be getting that completely right, Fulham. Palace scored a goal that was disallowed here. And Rob Jones has been called to the monitor by Michael Salisbury for what they think might be a foul in the build-up on Trevor Chalobah. I don't think it is. I think he needs to be stronger there, Chalobah. I think that's really... If this gets disallowed, I swear to God, just play football. The defender doesn't get the ball. I mean, come on. If we're going to give this as a foul, just shut the whole thing down. I mean, honestly, it was a beautiful goal. Why are we trying to ruin goals? Whatever happened to giving the advantage to the attacking team? I mean, the referee's at the monitor now. We can guess what's going to happen, because usually when they go to the monitor, the on-field decision gets overturned. We'll hear from the referee. Marco Silva's already incensed on the sideline, but I agree with him. I mean, this is really shit. Get a grip. Here we go. We're going to hear from the referee, telling the players to move away. Let's see what Rob Jones has to say here. I can guess what's going to happen, and I don't think I'm particularly happy with it. I can't bloody hear him. Awful. They've disallowed the goal. That is shocking. Absolutely shocking. What is going on? What is going on in Premier League football? I think that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, whatever happened to contact sport? Giving the advantage to the attacking team. I mean, honestly, I think that's really poor. Really, really, really poor. I mean, no one would have questioned it if it was given. No one would have said a dicky bird about it. They would have said, yeah, perfectly good goal. Why on earth, if it wasn't spotted on the field, are we trying to re-referee the game? The referee clearly saw what happened. Unless he's blind, he saw what happened. Why are we constantly trying to criticise teams and stop them from scoring goals? Perfectly good goals, by the way, for no apparent reason. I'm not a Chelsea fan or a Fulham fan, but I saw absolutely no issue with that goal. And that's for the second time at Stamford Bridge that a goal has been disallowed for a really bizarre reason. The first time, it was a rule thing. That was just a complete joke, in my opinion. And it takes a young 18-year-old's goal off of him now. I mean, why? I understand if the referee on the field would have said, yeah, that's a foul. Or the assistant would have said it. I understand that. But is that a clear and obvious error? Is that a big enough mistake that we have to bring in VAR and get involved? It's really, 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 really wrong. I don't like it whatsoever. I am all for VAR and helping the officials. But if we are going to constantly re-referee the game, what's the point? Here come Fulham here. Josh King wants another one. Shot was low and hard at Robert Sanchez that time. He's going to be more motivated now to get that goal. But at the end of the day, I think, honestly, why are we being so bogged down with making sure that everything is 100% perfect? The beauty of football is that it isn't 100% perfect. Nothing is always going to go exactly the way we want it. But, honestly, it's now an 18-year-old has been denied an unbelievable moment away in a derby early in the game because of this. Rodrigo Muniz has control of the ball. I don't want to get into technicals because I'm just like, what's the point? They don't give a shit about technicals anymore. It's whatever they think whenever they go to the monitor, or whatever tickles their fancy at any given moment. If we had consistency, we could understand this. But I can guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, if that is not given on the field as a foul, 9 times out of 10, it goes as a goal. Why on God's green earth are we deciding to do this every single week and re-referee the game? There are 4 officials inside the stadium. 1 that stands on the sideline that would have had a clear view of it, the 2 assistants either side on the sidelines, and the referee who's right in the mix of it. If all 4 of them said that that wasn't a foul, why are we getting some idiot looking at a monitor thousands of miles away, hundreds of miles away, going, yeah, I think you need to have a look at that referee? If the referee doesn't see an issue with it, and it's not a foul, it's not an issue in terms of the rules, a technical rule, why get involved in the game of play? It's a subjective situation. Let the referee on the field have the final call. I get bring him to the monitor, but when you bring him to the monitor, he's always going to change his decision. To me, it looks really, really stupid. By the way, we had a stoppage there. Rodrigo Muniz was down. He's okay. Whatever happened, it was a little collision, but he's okay to continue. And, yeah, I apologise for going on that rant, but it really gets annoying time and time and time again. And we're getting to the point now where really, we're not getting football. We're getting this weird kind of simulated version of what the referees want to happen. I mean, it's really poor. Really poor. Anyway, back to the game. Still 0-0 here by the 29th minute at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Fulham 0 in this London derby. And Muniz back onto the field. Thank you all for getting involved. Blue Nose says football is broken now. Going to be awkward to fix. Andy says we are football fans and we're upset. We're all upset of this each week. Indeed. Casper says ridiculous from VAR. Fulham under pressure at the back there. And as he tried to keep it alive down that side, Malo Gusto, he couldn't keep it in play. Throw into Fulham. They get a little bit lucky there to the Fulham defence because they were pressed into a really tight space again by Chelsea. And they just, by the skin of their teeth, break out of that. Sessegnong's long throw. Well won by Tosin. Bouncing ball in behind here. João Pedro with a cross, and it's right into the hands of Bernd Leno. He's just rolled it off here for Fulham to break forward. It's Sasa Lukic. Switching out to the left. Nicely taken down by Sessegnon. Bodies forward here for Fulham. Up against Gusto. Sessegnon's cross deflected. Muniz, what a save by Sanchez. Reactionary indeed. I think the flag was up anyway, but that was a good delivery. And a deflection. Took it into Rodrigo Muniz's path. He had a go at it. It was saved at point blank range by Robert Sanchez. We see that he's just offside. It's a good spot by the assistant, by the way. And a good delivery, but a deflection certainly helps it into the path of the Fulham number 9. And in the end, doesn't ultimately work out for him as the offside flag was up in any case. I completely agree with you, Casper. I completely agree with you. You know, what is Rodrigo Muniz doing wrong there, in my opinion? Nothing. He's turning on the ball in an attacking phase of play. People collide. It's a contact sport. It happens. In my opinion, Trevor Chalobah tried to win the ball and he didn't get there. And in that point, that's just, he should do better. That's the way I would look at it. And I think it's really poor. And I think they're still talking about the game as well, about the goal. The Fulham player was in control of the ball. How can he foul someone who doesn't have control of the ball when he is turning in possession of the ball? How can you foul someone by doing that? I don't understand how that can be a foul. I mean, it's just like, if the referee can come out and clearly explain how that is a foul and why it's a foul, rather than just saying that he turned into a clumsy challenge, what does that mean? You see clumsy challenges all the time that aren't giving us free kicks. I just think if we're going to give the benefit to the attacking team, we need to let things like that go and allow the attackers to have that benefit of the doubt and have that advantage. At the minute, we're saying we want to give advantage to the attacking players when we're doing the exact opposite and giving the advantage to the defenders. How many times have you seen goals ruled out for stupid little things? It really gets and grinds my gears. And that's why I'm so staunchly against kind of goalkeepers being overprotected. Because I think you're in a position where you need to defend your area. You need to be strong. And if you're not strong enough, that's on you. Not every contact on a defender is a foul. And that's, I think, what we need to try and wise up to at the same time. Because defenders are going to try and do it to know that they don't want to look like they're in the wrong. Oh, I was fouled, referee. Oh, yeah, we'll let you off the hook on this one. No. Trevor Chalobah tried to get the ball. He didn't get there. Rodrigo Muniz turning on the ball. He does make contact with him. But it's accidental contact in possession of the ball. I just think at this minute in time, some of the refereeing decisions we're seeing, and yes, it's not always going to be perfect. They're humans. I understand that. But the referee and his 3 people that are there at the match, who are there to officiate and help the referee, none of them saw that as a foul. That's what I want to reiterate. Not a single one of them thought that was a foul. That's all I'll say. Because that to me says, why make a change? Why get involved? And I just think it's really, really annoying. Really annoying. Blue Nose says footy is meant to be the same across all levels from under 11s to internationals, but is corrupted by cash. I think I agree with the sentiment to your point in the fact that there is a lack of consistency between football now. You know, youngsters are being told different things than what is actually happening at the top level. What you're told as a young player, and look, I never played football to any level really, but we all know what you're told when you're young in football and what you're being taught in the early days and the first thing. And what you're taught if you're a defender was to always be strong, to stand up to every challenge, and if you don't get there, then really you need to be stronger. Defending is all about strength and physicality and winning the ball off the attacker at any given means. Of course, don't put yourself in a stupid position, but that's the reality of it. And your job as an attacker is to fend off the defender in every which way you can to try and give your team an attacking advantage. So, really, there are going to be physical challenges. There's going to be more moments involved. But there was no intention. There was nothing there. That's what I don't get. There was nothing there. Anyway, I need to calm down. 10 minutes ago in this first half, nothing's really happened. You've not missed anything. It's still 0-0. And not much attacking plays happened. It's been literally foul after foul after foul. I think this referee's lost this game completely here. I mean, every time a player goes down from both teams, the whistle's going. I mean, there was nothing in that either. It's Bassey that hits the Fulham, or the Chelsea player, and he gets a foul. Oh, please. Please, God. Please, God. Andy, thank you very much for the support. Great to have you in the chat, and thank you very much for your support. And everybody involved, as Andy says so kindly, do hit that like button. Do subscribe, and also turn on post notifications. We've got 5 watch-along commentaries for you across the weekend. And this one and another one today, and then 3 tomorrow for you. So here come Fulham. Castagna's cross, well headed by Tosin. Had to get there. It looked like Monique was trying to break through. It's come out to the far side for Iwobi. Plays it across to Sessegnon, who played it a little behind his defenders, but that was a lovely bit of skill by Bassey. Lays it out wide here to the left. Iwobi now. Rolls it in behind. Trying to make the angled run was around Sessegnon. And in the end, it's shielded back to the Chelsea keeper in Robert Sanchez. Gets his players going quickly, and Enzo Fernandez turning onto the ball. But again, tried to feed it out wide and was pretty easily closed down there as Josh King was brought down, and Moises Caicedo was going to get a yellow card for that late challenge. Yeah, it's a good move again from Josh King. Took the touch, left his leg there to know that he was going to get fouled. That's really smart from the youngster. And that's got Moises Caicedo a yellow card. And the first yellow card of the game. Yeah, Andy. Well, that's what the international break's for. Get a bit of a break. And, yeah, but honestly, I love it. That's why I do it. I love it more than anything else. That's why I'm here all the time. That's why I'm here every weekend. Because I love it. I mean, I just love talking about football. It's that simple. Play down the left-hand side here from Fulham. Nice little combination. Bassey, though, a little short on his forward pass, but Sander Berger's there to bail him out. Sessegnon down the left channel. Nice little give and go. He's let that one go, the referee. Plays it in behind towards Iwobi. And Gusto bundles to the grounds. And that's going to get Chelsea a free kick. Yeah, by the end of this weekend, we do all 5 games. It will be, out of the 30 Premier League games that have been this season, that will be our 17 watch-alongs we've done in the first 3 weeks of the season. 6 in week 1, 6 last week, and 5 this week. Certainly getting your money's worth. Certainly I'm getting my money's worth out of it. Loving it so far. It's great to have you all with us to enjoy it. As Joachim Andersen there trying to battle with Tyreek George. Losing that battle. And that's going to be a free kick to Chelsea. Well, as we edge closer to the end of the first half, we still sit at goalless and still await our first credible goal here at Stamford Bridge. It's funny enough that we've had 2 times the net has been found, both by away teams, and both goals have been disallowed here at Stamford Bridge so far this season. So still awaiting our first legitimate goal at the bridge. Free kick for Chelsea. It's Neto, left-footed, deep, but too deep and too close to the Fulham keeper in Bernd Leno. He lays it out wide here for Josh King. He's on his own up there, but he's got support bursting forward. King out in this left channel. Chelsea trying to flood bodies back. Iwobi. Now to Sander Berger, who lays it off well to Joachim Andersen. That was good play by Fulham. Really fluid, although on that occasion Andersen's heavy touch doesn't come off in the way of Fulham. Yeah, you're good at it, man. I'm an OG radio football listener, and from you I can tell, and I can't see Chelsea scoring. They need to change something if they can to win. Well, yeah, they did lose, of course, Liam Delap early in this game to a hamstring injury, we suspect. We don't quite know, but I know where a hamstring is, and I've seen a hamstring injury multiple times before. Everybody knows what a hamstring injury looks like, and that's exactly what it looked like from Liam Delap's point of view. But yeah, Chelsea, since that, they've struggled to find any runners in behind. They've struggled to get any real grip of this game. I think it's been a stop-start first half overall. I think the VAR moment, I know, then kind of a lot of stop-start free kicks being given in this first half. It has been a very kind of sticky game in a sense. It hasn't been very, it hasn't flowed very much so far, the football, in these early moments. And yeah, it is something that I gotta say that both teams need to try and find. But of course, at the minute, Fulham are pretty much happy with the way things are going. The fact that it is still 0-0. Of course, they would feel that they should be 1-0 up, and I wouldn't disagree with that. But it is still goalless. And a reminder for you: half-time, we'll talk about the Champions League. The draw was done on Thursday. We'll talk about all the fixtures, what it means for the big teams in the Premier League all across this weekend. We'll focus on Chelsea mostly at half-time as well, because they are our feature game here this afternoon. But we'll also talk a lot about the weekend's action here in LFS as well as some interesting transfer stories that we've had develop over the last 24 hours. So do stay with us at half-time for all of that action. Right. So a corner to Chelsea, left-hand side here. 3 minutes of this first half to go. Enzo Fernandez to take the corner, right-footed, bouncing around, and the ball is headed over the bar. It was Tosin, I think, and it just hit the roof of the net. Here we see it again. It's good delivery by Enzo Fernandez. It's narrow to the near post, and it's flicked up and over by Tosin. Got a free header to that one. Oh, it actually, sorry, a replay of it shows it comes off the back of a Fulham player and then onto the neck, the kind of neck-shoulder area of Tosin, and that's why it goes over. Only scored 3 goals from corners last week, did Chelsea. And that puts them at the top of the charts. 4 goals for corners so far this season. 3 of their 5 goals have come from set pieces. Tosin winning his header, but couldn't keep it in play. It will be a Fulham through down this right side. And both teams will have positives to take from this first half, and that their performances have been well matched. Fulham have looked a threat in key moments as well, but Chelsea and their ball control. That's a lovely little flick in behind here. Sasa Lukic rolling it through, couldn't quite find it through Chalobah that time. And then Caicedo shielding the ball away from Rodrigo Muniz. He did foul him that time. Free kick to Chelsea. But again, those flick-ons from Fulham. They drag the attacker in, or they drag the defender in, and then look for that space in behind with a flick-on. On that occasion, it was Sasa Lukic made the run in behind. And unfortunately, for Fulham, it didn't quite develop, and well defended from Trevor Chalobah that time. He got to it, but here come Fulham again, working it off the defenders again, trying to work it out to the left side again. Chalobah getting involved, and Esteval winning it down the right here. They wanted a foul there, Fulham. They're not going to get it, and Bassi steps in. Esteval breaks around him. This could be a chance for Chelsea. Esteval's cross was blocked, and Joachim Andersen, who clears it away, is first to scream at the referee, as Fulham thought that there was a foul on their defender from Esteval. I'll have to see a replay of it, but couldn't quite tell from distance. And so here comes Chelsea again, intercepted. And Rodrigo Muniz did play it forward, but that'll be too much for Josh King to get to. And Chelsea will retrieve it. And we will have 8 minutes added on at the end of this first half. Shows you how Stop-start this first half has been with injuries and a VAR decision as well. 8 minutes. Here's Neto. Off the left side. Not really finding a way into the box just yet. Trying to squeeze past the defender. Well stood up by Timothy Castagna, who was back there. Although he plays it right back to Chelsea. Pedro with a delivery. And the header was cleared. And there was an offside flag up. And again, against Chelsea. The flag stayed up. The referee's allowing play to go on. But I don't understand why. I think this referee hasn't had his morning coffee yet. Somebody deliver him a bloody Starbucks at half-time, will you? I mean, there was an offside flag up against Chelsea, and he decided to play on when Chelsea was continuing to have possession of the ball. Don't even with me. Don't even with me. Blue News says, is it the Leeds game you're commentating on after? Yes, we are. The 5:30 game at Ellen Road. Thanks for reminding me, by the way, to do that little ad read. It is Leeds against Newcastle here. And behind her, Fulham. Josh King just beaten to it by Gusto. He just got in time to defend that situation. As it was saying, Leeds, Newcastle, 5:30 here on LFS. And we'll round up all the 3 o'clockers as well. The results from those at 5:30 as well. Yeah, Josh King again. He's causing trouble to this Chelsea defence in this first half. Looked really bright. And on that occasion, barring a Malo Gusto clearance there, it could have been a chance for the youngster once again. He's looked like he is going to be Fulham's main threat in front of the goal today. And see this moment again that Fulham wanted a foul for a little earlier. I mean, that's a foul. If Rodrigo Muniz's challenge is a foul, that is a foul. I'm having none of it. I gotta say, referees can have bad games, but Rob Jones here, at this minute in time, I don't like singling out referees. I don't like this whole rhetoric that comes against them of terrible referee, shouldn't play in the game. I don't like things like that, but when you have to call out bad decisions. You have to call out inconsistency in the way the game has been refereed in this first half. And I'm not saying the referee is biased against one team, but it just so happens that certain similar situations for one team is being punished and not for the other. That's all I'll say. We'll move on. Throw into Fulham down this left-hand side. I'm not in any way saying that the referee is against one team. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But what I am saying is that from what the decisions have been in this first half, it doesn't help the referee's case in saying that he has been very balanced in his refereeing in this first half. That's all I'll say. 3 minutes of the 8 gone in the first half. That's probably the longest first half added time I've seen in a while. But we've probably deserved it and needed it for the many stoppages that we've had as Fulham win a throw in down that left side again. Again, Josh King, he's looked really bright early in this game. A real promising youngster, and in a season, in an early season, that seems to be full of promising youngsters. Max Diamond at Arsenal, Rio Gamoa at Liverpool, Josh King now at Fulham, Estevao, of course, for Chelsea. The league is littered with young talent at the minute, and we're starting to see them blossom in their new teams. Tete plays it inside to Lukic here. Rolls it in behind. King's made a good run. He's cut it back. Castagna, what a block. Caicedo put his body on the line. Once again, Fulham worked into a really good position. What a run this is from Josh King. Breaks off the defender, times it to perfection. Nice little through ball by Lukic. And then King just cuts it back. Castagna makes the run in behind. And it's Castagna, who's readying to have a shot, goes to try and take it first time with the right foot, side foots it, and what a block from Moises Caicedo. Fabulous defending, and it will be a Fulham corner. Their first corner of the game, by the way, for Fulham. It's Lukic over it. Right footed, up and around. Oh, it's headed down into the ground. And it's bounced nicely for Chelsea here as Gusto tries to break forward. And now he's got bodies flooding forward. It's a real battle here for Chelsea as Enzo Fernandez plays it, pokes it through. But the counter-attack breaks down with Fulham getting bodies back. And then well held up here by Josh King, who is clipped at there by Cucurella, but no foul, says the referee, says play on. Nice little touch by Pedro, good challenge there by Anderson. Nice Sessegnon, he's found space. It's got a bit open this game in the last few minutes. Sessegnon gets a break of the ball, but Caicedo again closing it all up. Seems like at the minute Caicedo is the only Chelsea player at the minute. These last few minutes it seems to be in concentration mode. Seems to have wavered a little bit, Chelsea. Bruno says 3-1 to the deluded Geordies, I think. Yeah, I've also went for a Newcastle win against Leeds. I think Leeds have looked bright, but Newcastle, I think, have just got better quality. Although they have got injuries, so you never know. But I would go with a Newcastle win there, in my opinion. Tosin. And then Enzo Fernandez tries to fire one forward. But again, Chelsea really need to try and figure stuff out at half-time here. They've really wavered. And Fulham, at the minute, are ending the half the brighter of the two teams. Iwobi with a reverse pass. Well closed out by Chalobah. Caicedo now gives it out wide to Esteval. Lovely little jink. Again Esteval, but he's doubly marked there. And they clear it away, do Fulham. Only as far as Chalobah again. As Muniz trying to battle for the ball again, but Chalobah does well. And now Cucurella. Out wide to Neto. Chelsea trying to find more bodies forward. Nice unorthodox little 1-2 between Neto and Cucurella. Neto's still going here. Finds Enzo Fernandez. Fulham crowding the area. And a shot from distance from Chalobah. Took a deflection, it seems, and that will go behind for a Chelsea corner. Well, I gotta say, Trevor Chalobah, I think he was a lucky boy earlier in the game to get that foul against him. But so far, since that point, certainly in the last 5 minutes, we've seen a lot more of his strong defensive actions from the Chelsea centre-back. Pedro Neto to take this corner for the Blues. As Tosin and Sasa Lukic were wrestling in the box there. Lukic ends up on the ground, so the referee's just going to have to sort one or two things out here for the moment. And shouldn't be much longer, but maybe after this corner it should come to half-time. As we've surpassed the 8 minutes of additional time now. Corner for Chelsea then, Pedro Neto to take. It's narrow again, it's flicked on at the near post. It's a real scramble at the middle, and there's a shot from nothing. Tariq George forces a save off Bernd Leno. He was looking for an offside flag there, the Fulham keeper. It never came, and the young Tariq George almost had a chance there for Chelsea. A little bit of chaos from the corner. Fulham don't do well enough to clear it away. Now they have another corner to defend before half-time here. Enzo Fernandez. Right-footed. Narrow again, and the header is in! And it's João Pedro, and Chelsea take the lead from a corner for the 4th time this season. Marco Silva's not happy again. He thought there was no time left. But it is João Pedro who fires into the back post, rising the highest and using his head to give Chelsea the lead right on the brink of half-time. There will be question marks over the timings and how we're into the 10th minute of 8 added and Chelsea have scored. But those questions, I'm sure, will fall on deaf ears. The goal officially scored in the 45th plus 9 minutes. So it was seconds up over, of course, seconds over the 8 added. And it's a minimum of 8 added minutes. It's up to the referee's discretion. But what a delivery by Fernandez. And again, Pedro Neto, see where he arrives here. He's just standing there. Calvin Bassey doesn't jump, allows him to jump in front of him, get a free header on it. That's poor defending from Fulham, but it's a good header, a very good header by João Pedro. And that is what Chelsea have the lead. And there is also the half-time whistle. And that is a half-time whistle for Marco Silva. He probably thought should have come earlier than it did. I don't think Rob Jones is a fan favourite for Marco Silva, and I think he wants to try and square up to the referee at half-time here, Marco Silva. He is really not happy. A disallowed goal for what he felt was soft. Couple of decisions that went against Fulham in this first half, and also the fact that they've scored Chelsea right on the brink of half-time in the ninth minute of additional time, when there was only 8 added. He has a lot to say, Marco Silva, but he can't say it because you're not allowed to talk to the referee at half-time. Half-time here at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 1, Fulham 0 in this West London derby, but that's only not even half the story. We'll be back in a few minutes. Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Stamford Bridge. It is Chelsea 1 at Fulham 0 in this West London derby at half-time. And that is, as I said before the half-time whistle, that is only not even half the story of what we've seen from that first half. But João Pedro's goal, certainly one for the those who own him in the fantasy team, are certainly loving that he has found the net. Not me. the Chelsea striker that I had in my fantasy team went off injured after 14 minutes. So yeah, that sums up my weekend so far. But it's only one game down, only half a game down, and I gotta say, Marco Silva. If there is an angrier person inside Stamford Bridge, I would be surprised if it's not Marco Silva, because my goodness me, he must be seething in that dressing room at half-time. His team had a goal disallowed. He felt a couple of fouls went against him. He felt really, and I kind of agree with him, that it's been a really poorly refereed first half. I think overall, inconsistency with decisions in the similar situations. Kind of the foul and the goal I've already talked enough about, but why VAR had to get involved, I'll never know. How 4 officials, a referee, 2 assistant referees and a 4th official all didn't see a foul of it when it was a clear centre of the pitch moment where they all would have seen it clearly. How none of them would have said, do you know what, ref, I think that might be a foul. How any of them didn't see that, but it's VAR that have the 16,000 monitors in a room somewhere in London have seen it. I'll never know how they think that's a foul, but we're not getting into that at half-time. But we will talk about is the football, and I think one player I want to point out at half-time is the player that thought he'd scored for Fulham that ended up having the goal disallowed, and that's Josh King, 18 years old. And I think the headline, but going into this international break, the headline of this first 3 weeks of the season will be about young stars, young talents coming into the league and showing their class and quality. Josh King, Esteval, Rio Gamoa, Max Diamond for Arsenal, amongst all of these different players as well. A lot of youngsters showing their quality, and even when the goal was disallowed, Josh King, sorry I have an itchy nose, apologies about that, but you know, even with him having the goal disallowed, he never wavered, and it's his mentality that I really find enticing, in that how many chances did he have in that first half? How many opportunities did he create for Fulham in that first half? 3 or 4 even. And really, if I want to be honest, he's a bright star, and that's clearly why he's in the team for Fulham. And I think if Fulham are going to get back into this game, are going to be involved in scoring in this game, he will be at the heart of it, I think. Josh King, he's been really good in that first half. But we talk about the goal. Again, it's not a coincidence that Chelsea have scored now 4 goals from corners in the first 3 weeks of the season. And yeah, their 3 goals came against West Ham in one game. So that might be a bit fluky, but at the same time, they did, of course, score from a corner, which has them ahead here at the break. And it's a good delivery by Enzo Fernandez to deliver in. And again, it's poor from Fulham, if I'm honest, because Calvin Bassey should do so much better. He stands watching João Pedro in front of him and doesn't jump. I get indecision, lack of decision, it can happen in defenders. But I think it's poor defending from Fulham to allow João Pedro to have a free header inside their 6-yard box. I'm not talking about him making a run from deep or a run from about 10 yards away. He stands in the 6-yard box, he stays in the 6-yard box, and he scores a goal from about 3 yards out inside the 6-yard box, and he got a free header. For me, that's really poor defending. But again, credit to João Pedro, gets up the highest, wins his battle, barely had a battle really, and gets a free header and scores a really good goal. And that's what has Chelsea in front at half-time. And I think overall it was at a moment where Chelsea were wavering. I think Fulham had ended the half the better. I think they had the quality. I think they had the attacking chances. They just didn't get the goal. And at times that can be a real sickener for teams in the fact that they probably performed the better of the 2 teams in the first half overall. But it is the home side who lead by that goal to 0. Right, we will get back into the game in 6 minutes' time, as you can see on the countdown clock there. But let's have a quick look at what's else to come across the weekends. 4 3 o'clockers for you this afternoon, and you got to say that one at Old Trafford will have a lot of eyes on it, because Manchester United, 3 games into the season, still looking for their first win, and after that embarrassing defeat away at Grimsby Town on Wednesday night, they certainly want to go into this international break with a win at least under their belt. If they can't beat Burnley, then they really are in a lot of bother. But we'll get to all of those a little later, and when we have our late game between Leeds and Newcastle. But to my predictions, so far these are my predictions for the weekend's games. Let us know what you think of my predictions. I've gone for some interesting ones. The Spurs-Bournemouth game I was kind of unsure about. But Bournemouth, I think they've played well so far this season in the early few weeks. But I think Spurs at home should do better. But you never know. Anything's possible. I have Newcastle winning away at Leeds. I have Brighton and City drawing, which is an interesting one because I think I was going to go for a City win, and then I thought, yeah, I can't keep going for a City win every weekend because I went for a City win in both games so far this season, and I thought, tricky game away at Brighton. Brighton need results. Brighton need points. Brighton need to kind of kickstart their season. They're not going to let Man City come and roam around them, and I think they will attack the game like the way Tottenham did Brighton, and we'll see how they perform, but I think they'll get a draw out of that game. I see Forest beating West Ham, which is not good for Graham Potter. It would be 4 defeats on the bounce for him at the start of the season. Liverpool-Arsenal, they've drawn quite a lot at Anfield over the last few years, so I've gone for a 2-2. Secretly hoping for a Liverpool win, but a 2-2 I've predicted there, and then I predicted Villa to beat Palace at Villa Park. Some of those, I kind of just went thinking a little bit, but not overthinking my predictions, because sometimes you can overthink a prediction and completely get it wrong. But I just thought, what do I feel is going to happen, and why have I backed that up? And that's what I went with so far. This is match week 3 on LFS, our game at Chelsea-Fulham at the minute. Later on this evening, we have Leeds taking on Newcastle to round off our Saturday action. And then a triple header of action tomorrow for you at 2. We are at the Amex as Brighton host Manchester City. Then as the big game of the week, as two title contenders, surely, last season's top 2, face off at Anfield. Liverpool take on Arsenal, 4:30. And then to round off the weekend's action, and to round off our first section of the season, as we end international break, we're at Villa Park, as Aston Villa host Crystal Palace. That is our match week 3 action here in LFS, but we have some transfer stuff to talk about so far, and 2 key interesting transfers that we've pinpointed. We're going to start with Newcastle, and that is that they have announced the signing of Nick Voltemade just this morning. Of course, they've been on the hunt for a centre forward all summer, and could this open the door for maybe a move for Alexander Isak? We'll see. Nick Voltemade, the striker joining from Stuttgart, the German striker joining from Stuttgart for £69 million, which is a club record fee for Newcastle United, a club record signing there for Newcastle. And also in North London, in Tottenham, they've made a big money move for Xavi Simons, who was very much linked with Chelsea, but Tottenham got involved. And they got a signature, and it is Tottenham, where Xavi Simons is being sent to from RB Leipzig. That's where he's going to play. I don't think he will play this weekend. I don't think he will play today because he wasn't registered in time, because he was only announced yesterday. We don't know that, but we'll know by 2 o'clock if he's involved. But I doubt that he will be involved this weekend. £51.8 million, the fee for Xavi Simons, a real promising player, promising Dutch player. There, Xavi Simons. So those 2 big signings. But of course, it is transfer deadline day on Monday, so less than around about 48 hours or so for teams to get their business done until they're locked in until the new year. And we'll see what will come. Will Alexander Isak make that move? And will there be some more movement across the Premier League for some big players? We will see, certainly. And what we will see is the second half between Chelsea and Fulham. That's on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Premier League Live. Half-time at Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea 1, Fulham 0 at the break. And Marco Silva back out early onto the bench. Don't forget, though, later on this evening in our second game of the day, to round off our Saturday action, we're at Ellen Road as Leeds United host Newcastle United. That is tonight, 5:30 on LFS. Right, the Chelsea players coming back out onto the field. They'll be joined by the Fulham players as well in a moment. And there's a man who's not particularly Marco Silva's favourite person at the moment, Rob Jones, the referee. And you think, What would he have been thinking at half-time? Would he have known that there was a mistake made at half-time? Would they have had communications, the officials in the changing room at half-time? Let's see how he referees the second half. A first half that Marco Silva and Fulham weren't particularly happy with in any sense. But their performances certainly was good. So we'll see what they can offer in the second. And they will get us going. They will kick from right to left. Chelsea from left to right in this second period. And we are back underway then at Stamford Bridge for our first game of the weekend here in the Premier League. And already the drama unfolding. Always seems to be these Saturday 12:30 games that we always get these crazy decisions at times. Crazy moments. A little bit sloppy moves there, and it's cleared away from Chelsea for a Fulham throw. Well, we do say Fulham, despite conceding late in that first half, if I'm honest, they were probably the team that were more on the front foot in the final 10 minutes of that first half, and ultimately they were sucker punched in a sense by Chelsea. That switch ball there from Fulham was well overhit. Malo Gusto will take this throw in for Chelsea on this right hand side. I gotta say, at least I got a point out of Liam Delap. Definitely being dropped, by the way. He is definitely being dropped. Well, he's got a hamstring injury, so he's not going to be in the team, surely, pre or post international break. So, yeah, he's coming out of the fantasy team. Hopefully, Reece James can come on and impact the game from a salvage point of view. But we want to see a good game nonetheless. Don't want to use my fantasy team to get in my way. Leno plays it to Sessegnon. And Malo Gusto there, pressed by Sessegnon, but fouled by Ran Sessegnon. Chelsea want to use the advantage that they have to try and garner any control of this game and add that second as quickly as possible, just to see out this derby. That will be the intention of Chelsea. For Fulham, it's all about continuing what they did at the end of that first half. Use their quality on the ball, use the young player, Josh King, in creating those chances and the quality they have in the final third, Fulham. And that's a lovely little link up there between Munith and Iwobi. And the cross there, attempt from Castagna, was blocked at the near side. Tete laid out wide to Castagna. Back inside it comes now. Chipped into the box. Munith's header is towards the goal, but wide of the goal. Goal kick. Well, speaking of Rodrigo Munith, Fulham won this exact fixture 2-1 last season via Rodrigo Munith's late winner. It ended a 21-game winless streak away to Chelsea in all competitions for Fulham. They've never won consecutive visits to Stamford Bridge in their history. So that doesn't bode well for them winning this afternoon, though. The long ball forward there from Robert Sanchez, but it's the Fulham defence that retrieves the ball. And they're trying to play it through the lines quickly. Nice battle there with Sasa Lukic. Was Enzo Fernandez that wins Chelsea a throw. A quick update from the Championship for you. 3 lunchtime games in the Championship. Still goalless between Middlesbrough and Sheffield United. Deep into the second half, and all 3 of those games, by the way. QPR and Charlton has just equalised Charlton, so it's 1-1 there at Loftus Road. QPR took the lead early in the first half, but it's Charlton have bounced back and got a goal back. Robert Apter has got a goal, so Charlton back in the game there, and it is West Brom who lead away at Stoke this afternoon. A first half goal from Nathaniel Phillips has given West Bromwich Albion the lead there at the Bet365. Right, back here though at the Premier League. Our lunchtime kickoff has a singular goal in it, and it came via João Pedro right on the death of the first half. Here's Estevao trying to help find Chelsea a second goal here. Estevao does really well. Switches it out to the left side. Neto with the ball in. Bouncing ball. Fulham just about get it away again. Didn't do well with the first header there, Fulham. They put themselves in an awkward position, but they did clear their lines. And Iwobi does well holding it up there. Played through the lines, closed out well by Caicedo, who's played well today, Caicedo. Broken up a lot of Fulham possession at times. That's little give and goes there between George and Estevao, and out wide it comes to Gusto. Back inside to Chalobah. He will go for the cross early. Taken down by Pedro, flicked over the top. João Pedro still battling with the ball. And in the time, one of the Fulham players can get in the way, but they want it back again, Chelsea. Chalobah's cross blocked. Calls a handball. Not given. Caicedo keeps it alive. Trying to go to goal himself there. Moises Caicedo. Goal kick. Well, they are claiming a penalty there, the Chelsea players. VAR are going to have a look at it. Have to see the replay. Oh. Yeah. I think that's going to be a penalty. Trevor Chalobah. Yeah, he hits the ball into the box, and it's really strange defending there from Ran Sessegnon. He pokes his arm out there. I don't know why he's poked his arm out that way. I mean, he's facing away from the ball, to be fair. His back's to the ball. What can he do with his arm? And he's jumping to try and block it. But at the same time, his arm is away from his body. And by the letter of the law, I don't like the law. We've said this already. We don't like the law. But by the letter of the law, that should be a handball. The only thing I can think about that could let him off here is the distance between the cross, the man who played the cross, and the handball. It's the only thing I can help him, in my opinion. And Rob Jones is going to the monitor again. He's going to watch season 2 here of this West London derby over in the monitor in the sideline. Quick box set for the referee to have a check at. I think he's going to give a penalty here. As I said, the only thing that I could think that could help Ran Sessegnon's case here is this vicinity between him and the ball when the ball is struck. But by the letter of the law, his arm is away from his body. Is it in an unnatural position? We'll see. Oh, well, they're checking for a handball prior to this other one on João Pedro. I mean, I have no bloody idea what's going on now. They're checking for handball on João Pedro. They think they've cleared that. And now they're going to the next one, which is the Ran Sessegnon one that would give Chelsea a penalty if it's given. I mean, he does use his elbow. I think he's a dead man walking here, Ran Sessegnon, in terms of this decision. The only thing I can think of, as I said, is the vicinity between him and the ball. But it's hard. It's a tricky one, this one. I would err on the side of no penalty, personally. But when you see it and you look at it, it's hard to argue against possibly giving a penalty. So we'll see what the referee is doing here. He clearly can't make his mind up because he's still looking at it, the referee. It's a good 20-30 seconds now at the monitor, and he's looking around. I don't even think he knows what his decision is. I think he's afraid to give a penalty here in case the Fulham fans deck him on the way out. We'll see what's going to happen anytime that the referee decides to make a decision. Michael Salisbury, the VAR, will be talking with Rob Jones through this, along with Scott Ledger, the assistant VAR. Does it hit the hand of João Pedro in the build-up, though? It does. It hits his arm. His arm's out there, João Pedro. If they're going to give a handball in the build-up there, it should be a Fulham free kick. Well, let's see then. The referee's going to take a move away, and let's listen to him. Hopefully we can hear him this time. Can we turn up the speaker? Anytime today, referee. Yeah. Penalty. Penalty to Chelsea. Handball against Ran Sessegnon. I said it's hard to argue against it. But I said the only thing that possibly could have saved him was his distance between him and the ball when it was struck. But the referee clearly feels that he made his arm unnaturally and his body unnaturally bigger, and therefore it's a penalty. I can understand why the referee's given it. I don't like the letter of the law. We can clearly see he had no intention to handle the ball there. He's moving away, turning away, but his arm is out from his body, and by the letter of the law, it's a handball. The Fulham fans again are not happy, and I can understand both sides here. I can understand why the penalty was given, but I can also 100% understand where the Fulham fans are coming from, that this is not something they want to see. But anybody would say that if a penalty was given against them in any circumstance. Of course you would. But I can understand where they're coming from. And Sessegnon, the one penalised here, it's just a penalty. I say that, just a penalty. But it's a day of VAR decisions that are not going Fulham's way. And it is now a penalty to Chelsea. In the 55th minute, it's Enzo Fernandez over it against Bernd Leno to double Chelsea's lead. Oh, it's found a way in. It was very close to Bernd Leno, but he couldn't keep it out. And Enzo Fernandez, who set up the first goal for João Pedro, he's found the net himself from the penalty spot. And Fulham will feel hard done by. But these are the fine margins in Premier League football that make the difference. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. Good penalty, by the way, but gotta say, Enzo Fernandez, audacity to go down the middle. Yeah, I completely understand both sides, but for me, I can understand. I don't like it being a penalty, personally, but it is a penalty, unfortunately. And he goes straight down the middle there, Enzo Fernandez. It does come off the foot of Bernd Leno, so he gets close to denying him, but he just can't keep it out. The power behind it was what forces it into the net. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0, and this West London derby is slipping further away from Fulham by the minute. Two 0. Chelsea fans are happy, and I think the Fulham fans couldn't be angrier if they tried. As they tried again and behind there, Chelsea not quite finding their target. Wolby will pick it up here for Fulham. King. Still a long way to go in this game, by the way. It is 2-0 to Chelsea, but remember there's a long time left. Still 33.5 minutes. So good distance in this game still to come. A second goal for Chelsea will give them that extra kind of control and boost in the game and settle the tentative nature a little bit more. They've got that 2-goal cushion now. I want to try and add to that even further. João Pedro. Pedro Neto, out wide it goes. Fernandez back to Cucurella. And now Tosin. Switching it out to the far right side for Malo Gusto. Bruno says I call shenanigans. Is it a huge difference from the Everton penalty against Leeds? It is. They're, in my opinion, they're very different situations. The penalty that Leeds got against Everton was from long distance, and the defender was leaning into, albeit his arm was by his side, but the defender was leaning into the ball to block it and deflect it away, which is a handball. Used his arm to do that. And here, it's much closer, but again, his arm is away from his body, and when you see that, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a penalty. I don't like it, but it is. Estevao steps inside here for Chelsea. Forces a good save out of Bernd Leno. Down to his left-hand side. And Estevao, he's looked bright this afternoon down this right-hand side, and again he's got the space. Played in by João Pedro, and then he chops back inside Calvin Bassey. He's caused Bassey a few problems today as the youngster. And Estevao tries to sneak it into the far corner, or into the bottom right corner. And Bernd Leno makes a good save down to his left-hand side. Iwobi. And not a great touch out there from Castagna. That's gone out for a Chelsea throw down this side. Oh, there was something about a handball in the build-up with João Pedro that they were looking at VAR and then didn't give. I didn't really see. I mean, it looks like it comes off his left hand. It looks like it comes off his left hand, if I'm honest, there from João Pedro. And I think Marco Silva, he's got a smile on his face, but I can guarantee you his blood is absolutely boiling on that sideline. because he is certainly, I am sure, will say after the match, wait for the post-match interviews, Marco Silva will be fuming. I certainly wouldn't want to be the reporter that's interviewing Marco Silva after the game, because he will not be a happy chappy heading down the road here back to Craven Cottage come the final whistle. I don't think the Fulham fans will want to see Rob Jones refereeing one of their games anytime soon after this match, I can tell you that for nothing. But one thing about Fulham, and it's a stat that I put down before the game, I put it down last week for Man United's game, I'll tell you in a moment, because here come Chelsea on the move. It's 3-0, it might be a bad moment. Enzo Fernandez breaking through, well shielded by the Fulham defenders in there, got bodies back, and now they want to move forward quickly. King made the run in behind here, out to the left, he's got Caicedo for company. King breaking into the box, edge of the box now for Alex Iwobi central. Can he get a shot off? He's rolled it across to Muniz, and in the end couldn't make anything of it. They did make a change, by the way, Fulham, in the last few seconds. I was saying Muniz now off the pitch along with Timothy Castagne, and Harry Wilson and Raul Jimenez have both come on just in the last few seconds for you. So Raul Jimenez and Harry Wilson on to try and change this game for Fulham, for Castagne and Muniz. As I say, Josh King has been their best player today, Fulham, in my opinion. Flick ball in behind. Here's a chance for João Pedro. He's already got one. Good block by Bernd Leno. Got his arm to that. Forced him wide. As Pedro forces it in behind. There was no one there in blue to make the run. And Fulham keeper takes control of it. Again, it's the gap in the behind the Fulham defence there was gaping. That's a beautiful through ball. Pedro picks up the space that was left there by the Fulham defenders, and he almost makes something of that. Barring Bernd Leno's involvement, that could have been another big chance for Chelsea. Fulham have looked open, I have to say that. Despite the fact that they've probably had decisions go against them today, they have looked really open defensively, in my opinion. Really open. Neto, Fernandez back to Cucurella, and now Tosin will just see it back to his goalkeeper Robert Sanchez. That's a crunching challenge there, but a fair one, said the referee from the Fulham midfield. Sander Berger, I think it was, that challenge for the ball there. And Leno sends it long and behind. Tosin with a header to get it away, but Harry Wilson involved trying to bring it down for Fulham, but he can't quite keep it. And now Chelsea are on the move again. Here comes Estevao. Now Tariq George. Out wide it goes to Gusto. Finding Pedro Neto. And Caicedo. 62 minutes gone here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Fulham 0 at the minute. And pushing for even more at the moment are Chelsea. And looking good for it at this minute in time. This is Chelsea's third London derby of the season. 0-0 draw with Palace, followed up by a 5-1 win at West Ham. And at the minute 2-0 up against Fulham. Next have the best record. They had the best record last season from London derbies. Picked up 26 points from London derbies last season. More than any other team in London. Arsenal 25. So they do know how to find a way past London teams, and they will pick up 7 points out of 9, it seems, to start the season. Chelsea, which heading into the international break, it's not a bad return. Enzo Fernandez just keeping the ball moving at the minute. Chelsea just keep the passing and being patient. Neto trying to break down the right hand side there, gets past Sessegnon, cuts it back into the box, laid off by Pedro. Estevao now, João Pedro, and the shot bobbled its way through. into the hands of Burnley. Chelsea drew 0-0 with Crystal Palace here in their first Premier League game of the season. They haven't failed to win their opening 2 games. They failed to win their opening 2 games last season in the Premier League, but they haven't done that in consecutive seasons since 2001-2, 2002-3. Doesn't look like they're going to do that here this afternoon, barring a great Fulham comeback. Well, I think today won't be about the football, won't be about the goals, it'll all be about the VAR moments. That's will be the talking points come the end of this game. And really, after all, the 2 goals scored by Chelsea, we should be talking about the goals, we should be talking about the quality on the field, but instead the headlines will be about VAR and about the decisions made by the referee and the officiating team on the field and off the field as well. And that will be, sadly, what comes of this. Down the left-hand side here come Chelsea. Neto with a lifted ball into the box and trying to throw himself at it there was João Pedro, and he just couldn't get near it, and it goes behind for a Fulham goal kick. But he's looked really strong today, especially in this second half, João Pedro. When Liam Delap went off early in the game, they struggled to have that focal point up front, Chelsea. And in the second half, João Pedro's been more advanced. He's made those runs in behind, and certainly, from what you can tell, he's had an impact, certainly, for Chelsea. And they're going to make changes here, Fulham. They already made a double change moments ago. They're going to make another double change. Going to see Anthony Robinson and Emile Smith-Rowe on. And Josh King and Ryan Sessegnon are coming off for Fulham. A roll of the dice once again from Marco Silva. They get one back very soon. You never know what can happen, Fulham, but at this minute in time they need to give themselves a fighting chance. Chelsea are going to make a change of their own here in a moment. Jamie Gittins is going to be coming on, and Estevao is going to get a standing ovation from the home crowd. Another very, very good performance from him. Estevao, just 18 years old, and lighting up the Stamford Bridge pitch. And coming off for Jamie Gittins, just 21 himself. Jamie Gittins, joined from Borussia Dortmund this summer. And Chelsea some fresh legs. The final quarter of this game. Well, this is usually the time of a game where Fulham look their most prolific. They love substitutes getting involved in their goal scoring. Do Fulham. I'll find the stat for you, but they have a very good stat in terms of sub scoring. If I could find it. I did have it, certainly, at some point. Well, I did have it. I know it's not here. But, yeah, they love to score goals from subs. And Rodrigo Muniz, 7 goals as a substitute since the start of last season, more than anybody else. Second on that list is another Fulham player, Harry Wilson, with 5 goals as a substitute. So they certainly know how to do it. And Fulham certainly had more goals as a substitute than any other team last season. 19 goals from substitutes across last season and so far this season. Both of their goals actually have come from substitutes to score equalisers so far this season. Against Brighton at the Amex in the opening weekend, Rodrigo Muniz in the late game, and Emile Smith-Rowe at Craven Cottage last week to equalise against Man United. Both goals coming from substitutions. Here's Pedro Neto for Chelsea. Chops inside. Terry George stretches for that one, holds it up well, finding Marco Correa. And out to the left-hand side comes Gittins, just on the field. Dribbling his way into the box, gets a shot and it deflects off a Fulham defender. Will be another Chelsea corner. Don't even get me started about my fantasy team, Benji. I mean, I have Reece James and Liam Delap Liam Delap went off injured. Reece James is still sitting on the bench. So that's how my fantasy league's going at the minute. I struggled. Trying to balance the books between Liverpool and Arsenal players, but I'm expecting a high-scoring game. Keep both players, sets of both players in my fantasy team this weekend of Salah, as well as Wirtz and Gyökeres as well. I expect goals from Liverpool Arsenal this weekend. Yeah, they have indeed, Andy. Chelsea have been better in the second half. And Fulham really have faltered a little bit. Bassey beaten to it by Neto with a delivery. And again, the Fulham defenders have to come to action. Joachim Andersen this time. He has to put it over the top for a corner. Yeah, again, Calvin Bassey drags himself too close to Pedro Neto. And he's always going to burst past you with pace. As he breaks down that right-hand side, Neto. The cross comes in low and hard. And Joachim Andersen, has to put it behind for the corner. Of which Pedro Neto is going to take. And this right-hand side. Chelsea want to take Arsenal's crown for corners. Flick on the near post. Oh, cleared away at the back post there by Fulham. Just about. And that's going to be a foul. As Raul Jimenez committed a challenge, which he doesn't feel is a foul, but he would say that. And that was Moises Caicedo that was fouled by Raul Jimenez. I gotta say, Andy, Tosin and Cucurella will get you a good haul of points here if they keep a clean sheet. Chelsea going short with a free kick. Fernandez lifts it in this time, a bit low. Cleared away by Tete at the near side. Recycled back with Malo Gusto. He will swing it over the top. There's just too much on it. And bobbles behind for a Fulham goal kick. They seem to be just comfortable at the minute, Chelsea. Under no real duress. Fulham are struggling even to get a few passes together at the minute. Robinson knocks it forward again. A contested one-on-one between Iwobi and Tosin. Tosin heads it out for a Fulham throw. "18 minutes to go here then. Do you think Osula will start for Newcastle tonight?" It will be tough. I think he will be involved. William Osula, he got that goal against Liverpool in the Monday night game, but are they going to throw him in the deep end, Newcastle? They might test him out this game, see how he does, and then assess it from there. But, of course, Nick Voltemata will not be involved as he was only signed overnight and this morning announced, so he won't be registered in time to play this weekend. You have to be registered by midday on Fridays before the match week start for you to be available to play in games. So I think Nick Voltemata will not be involved, but Will Osula will certainly be. And without now Anthony Gordon, who got a red card, they will have a little bit of a selection headache for Eddie Howe and his coaching staff. (2-0) to Chelsea then, here at Stamford Bridge. Despite Fulham having a pretty decent record in London derbies away from home recently, they've won 4 of the last 8 away Premier League London derbies. That was as many as they had in their previous 68 London derbies combined, so they've certainly improved in these types of games over recent seasons. But certainly not this afternoon. They lost 43 games in that 68-game run in London derbies. That's a crazily bad run away in London derbies there for Fulham, but 4 out of the last 8 is a much better win rate. Today, looks like they're going to add another one to that loss column. Their first, actually, defeat of the season it would be, after they've drawn both of their opening 2 league games of the season. This will be their first defeat. If they failed to score, it will be the first time they failed to score as well this season. Long ball by Leno. Well headed away by Tosin. Bassey wins his header, but flick. And it's nicely guided back to Berneno by Sander Berge. Up for that. Had to sneeze there. Come out of nowhere. That's going to be a foul there. Late challenge there by Cucurella on Harry Wilson. That's a free kick to Fulham. They need a bit of an energy injection, Fulham. They need to have a chance. If they get up the field and get an opportunity, they could still be in this game. But at the minute, Chelsea are defending them out of possession well. They're not really getting forward very much. But here comes Anthony Robinson, though, with a real first foray for him. And he's won a corner off Malo Gusto. See, that's what I mean. A singular moment that gets the crowd going for them, the Fulham fans. And maybe, you never know if they get a goal. This could be something that could garner a bit of momentum. With 15 minutes to go, it's Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. The game's not over yet. Fulham need to try and reignite themselves if they want to win this game, or even get anywhere close to getting something out of this game. So Lukic to take this corner for Fulham. Haven't racked up many corners in the game, Fulham. Right for the delivery. Up and flicked away by Chelsea. Game well defended. It's recycled here by Alex Iwobi. Switches it out to the right hand side for Smith Rowe. Now Wilson. Fulham trying to manoeuvre something, but again there's no breaking through Chelsea at the minute. Back out wide here to Joachim Andersen, who stayed wide. He's whipped one in. Bouncing down, calls a handball. Chelsea come away with it, but the referee sees no issue. That's a good challenge by Iwobi, though, and now they've won it back again, Fulham. A little bit open there from Chelsea. Iwobi across the field, finding Emil Smith Rowe. Nice Sander Berge. Finds Lukic. Berge again onto Iwobi. Better from Fulham. Alex Iwobi plays it through. Trying to find Raul Jimenez, but couldn't hold it up there, the Fulham centre forward. And Chelsea received possession again with João Pedro. Switch ball there, didn't quite find its target. Chelsea making some silly moves at the minute, and Cucurella diving in on Smith Rowe. Referee says play advantage, and Cucurella again right in on a man. The referee's going to pull it back for the foul before the advantage, so it's a free kick to Fulham. Marc Cucurella jumping in the last few minutes. It's one thing about Marc Cucurella, he's a great defender, but he can put in some sloppy tackles and do some rash things at times. So we see this call for a handball again. Yeah, it's never a handball. It's off the shoulder of Malo Gusto. Never in a million years that's going to be given. And he says community on radio platform styles paint an even better picture than watching it. Yeah, the one thing, people think commentating on a game, if you're a TV commentator or a radio commentator or an out-of-vision commentator, when you don't have the game to your advantage, you have to describe it a lot more in a lot more detail. Because you have to talk about what the pictures you're seeing are. Free kick to Fulham, whipped in. Up and away by Tosin, who was on his own there and defending that. But again, Fulham bring down the long ball, or down the right flank they come. Tete trying to hold on to it and kind of scrappling with the Chelsea players. And in the end, it's the Chelsea players that come out the better of the two. But again, hampering up possession really simply there. They played it back to Robert Sanchez and he just pings it long to no one. Chelsea are, again, allowing Fulham back into this game, it seems. Play out to the right hand side. Harry Wilson going for the early cross. It's a deep cross. It's headed round the back post. Didn't see a Fulham man there. I didn't. But Chelsea again deal with it it was Anthony Robinson that made that run. I thought it was a poor ball, and in the end it saw Fulham's Anthony Robinson there pick it up. Referee says play on as a couple of bodies went to ground there. Iwobi inside to Lukic, who was clipped at. Referee says no foul. And Chelsea come away with the ball now as they play it in behind. But Bernd Leno has that one mopped up pretty easily. Seems like Fulham have been given a little bit of a boost here in the last few minutes. They've played more football, they've got the ball forward quicker. Now their next task is to try and test the goalkeeper. They have 80% possession, Fulham, in the last 5 minutes. Robinson. Lukic. Flicking it over the top in behind the runner from Wilson. But he just couldn't bring the ball under his spell there, Harry Wilson. And it comes off his foot and behind for a goal kick. Well, I think Enzo Maresca feels that his team are wavering a little bit again and need a bit of help from the bench. And he's going to call 2 players on here for his final substitutions. Reece James is going to come on. And I think Tyreek George is going to come off as well here at the moment. We'll see. We'll get full confirmation of those for you in a second. It's Pedro Neto is coming off for Andre Santos. And Reece James is coming on. And he is replacing Tyreek George. Not in that direct order, but you know what I mean. Reece James and Andre Santos on, Neto and George off for Chelsea. Reece James, the captain, the club captain. And he's on to just give a bit of control to this game for Chelsea that, as I said, in the last few minutes has been more in Fulham's advantage than Chelsea's. Cucurella tried to make the run down the left channel. Chested it down, but chested it out of play. Did Marc Cucurella there. Nice play by Bassi. Iwobi. A little bit heavy on the reverse pass, and it allows Chelsea back on the ball. Lovely little flick on. Oh, cleared away by Berger. And Chelsea back on the ball again from that Fulham clearance. And Chalobah all the way back to Robert Sanchez. Ball, header won by Anthony Robinson. It's a bouncing ball. It's one that Raul Jimenez gets his head to and flicks it on to Iwobi here. Left side, Iwobi going for the early cross into the box. Smith Rowe was making the run. And it's gone behind. It will be a throw. Caicedo had to get back in there to defend that situation. It's a throw to Fulham. Caicedo's done that a few times this afternoon. Very much involved in making those deep runs into his own box to try and help his defence out. Robinson with a throw. Linked up with Emil Smith Rowe, and that's good defending there by Reece James to put it out for the throw in there off the Fulham player. And we're going to see Adama Traore coming on here for Fulham. It's going to be their final change of the afternoon. A real chaos maker is Adama Traore. He's coming on, and coming off is going to be Alex Iwobi. Got a straight swap there in the wide areas for Fulham. And Iwobi off for Traore. Trying to be a tricky customer there, Adama Traore. Oh, loose pass there. Andre Santos just about work it out, Chelsea. That was a lovely little flick by João Pedro. And Santos beating off a man. Playing it through for Pedro. I think he's offside. The flag's gone up. He is offside. Yeah, I agree with you there, Andy. If the Josh King goal stood early in the game, it would have been very, very different the way this game would have played out. Decisions that Fulham will feel have gone against them tonight. Today. That Marco Silva is clearly not happy with. The VAR decision to rule out Josh King's goal for a foul in the build-up. Then the fact that the referee played more than 8 minutes at the end of the first half where Chelsea got their goal also angered Marco Silva. And then the second goal for Chelsea, a VAR call for a penalty, which I think was a penalty. But Marco Silva not happy because he felt there was a handball in the build-up from a Chelsea attacker in João Pedro. Anthony Robinson trying to break into midfield, overrun it there, and Reece James recycled. Chalobah setting himself off in a tricky situation, and then as he did earlier, goes to ground and wins a free kick. Cucurella, Tosin to Chalobah. 5 minutes of the 90 to go, plus the additional. That's a lovely little link up there between Gusto and Santos. And now is Andre Santos. Going to switch it out to the left. It's actually bundled in behind here for João Pedro, whose shot was well saved by Leno. And then Pedro trying to get the rebound. It's cleared away. And it's going to be offside there from João Pedro. It's going to get Fulham a free kick. He looked like he was offside there, João Pedro. Well, as I said, Chelsea would go top of the table, at least for a while. They would go top of the table with 7 points in their first 3 games, 2 wins and a draw, 7 goals scored, 1 conceded. For Fulham, they would sit in 14th as it stands. Just 2 draws and 1 defeat from their first 3 league games. Still looking for that first win. Would Fulham scored 2 goals, conceded 4, with just 2 points on the board for them heading into the international break, it seems, unless they can change something here. Traore, right hand side, lifting the ball in. The header from Raul Jimenez is over the bar. I've not seen many times where Fulham have got into the box, the Chelsea box, in the second half. That's only their 3rd shot of the half. And that was a good delivery between 2 subs there. Adama Traore with the delivery and Raul Jimenez with a header. He just goes too early with it. His header was wayward, but goes too early. Well, let's see what they've got coming up after the international break, these 2 teams. Chelsea have another London derby, by the way. They head to Brentford after the international break. That is a 8 o'clock kickoff on the Saturday after we come back on the 13th of September. And then they have a trip to the Allianz Arena in their first Champions League game of the new season. And they head to Bayern Munich that following Wednesday, 8 o'clock kickoff there at the Allianz Arena in Munich. For Fulham, when they come back from the international break, they are back at home at Craven Cottage. They host Leeds United. That is a 3 o'clocker on the Saturday the 13th, and then they have another London derby, but at home, and they host Brentford the following weekends. That's what's to come for these 2 teams after the international break. We will talk a little bit, actually, just before the final whistle here, about the fixtures for Chelsea in terms of the Champions League. So I said they would go away to Bayern on the 17th of September. Hold on, there might be a chance there. Well defended back there by Kenny Tete. Then they have their first home game against Benfica on the 30th, Tuesday the 30th of September. Then they have a trip. Do they? No, they're at home again to Ajax on match day 3 on the 22nd of October. Then, after that, on match day 4, they head to Karabag, an early kick-off on Wednesday, the 5th of November. Match day 5, Chelsea are then at home against Barcelona. What a game that is, Tuesday, the 25th of November. Then on match day 6, a trip to Atalanta on the 9th of December. And then in 2026, match day 7 and 8 in January of next year. On the match day 7, Chelsea host Paphos here on the 21st of January, followed by a match day 8 trip away to Napoli on the 28th of January for Chelsea. Not some easy games along that list. Some big trips away. as well as some tough home games as well. Barcelona in amongst them. Bayern Munich is a key one on match day 1. Here's a shot from distance. Straight down the throat of Bern Leno from Reece James, that was. I wouldn't have minded that one going in, if I'm honest, for my fantasy team. Long kick here from Calvin Bassey. Swung out to the right side. Kept in play by Adama Traore. A nice battle there between Jimmy Gittins and Harry Wilson. Here is Raul Jimenez. Going through the lines. Couldn't quite find it. It will come back to Kenny Tete here. Well, Fulham have pushed forward in the last 10 minutes or so. Again, no real clear-cut opportunities. It's just not their day, really. You gotta say, Marco Silva's fuming with his players now. Well, my pre-season predictions for where they're going to finish had Fulham finishing right bang mid-table. I have them finishing 10th this season, Fulham. I think they will be pretty, not stagnant, I think they will be pretty consistent with their positioning between this season and last season. They haven't made many signings, they haven't made much moves over the summer. And they haven't really bolstered the squad very much, so I think they will stay similar positions. They will get good results out of good teams, but here today it's just not been their day, Fulham. Down the right-hand side comes Adama Traore. Up against Gittins and Cucurella gets the ball towards the box. And Gusto has to flick it behind for the corner under a bit of pressure there. It was better from Fulham. It's a corner to Fulham down this left-hand side. Might be a little bit of an issue there for João Pedro, by the way. A little bit gingerly as he trods back into his own box there to defend this corner. Keep an eye on that. Some early season injury problems here coming for Chelsea. Liam Delap and Cole Palmer out. They don't want to lose João Pedro. Will be a corner to Fulham left hand side. 8 minutes of added time in this to end this game. And the referee has to sort out one or two issues in the box again. Raul Jimenez getting right up all in the business of Malo Gusto and his keeper Robert Sanchez. It's a real tussle around the box there. I will tell you about the championship scorelines in a moment. Corner for Fulham, delivered into the box, back post. It's bouncing around, he's cleared off the line. The ball went missing there for a second into a crowd of bodies, but it's cleared away by Chelsea. Header brought down here in the middle by Lukic. Fulham maybe trying to make a late foray. There's still 6 minutes of this game to go. Wilson breaking forward, brought down late there. It's going to be a free kick and a yellow card for Andres Santos committing that foul. Gets himself a booking. And Harry Wilson, the one that was fouled there. Quick update from the Championship games. All of those 12:30 games in the Championship are over. It is finished. Middlesbrough 1, Sheffield United 0. Sheffield United, not a start to the season at all for them. They have lost all 4 games to start the campaign, Sheffield United, scoring just 1 goal. And they've conceded to a Middlesbrough side who have now won all 4 of their opening games. 1-0 win there for Middlesbrough. Tommy Conway with the goal there to give them the lead. It's QPR that have ultimately seen off Charlton by 3-1. 2 second half goals from Koji Salto and Richard Coney have given QPR the win there, and it is West Brom who see off Stoke by that singular goal to nil from that first half goal from Nathaniel Phillips. Those were the lunchtime results from the Championship. Free kick here for Fulham. Right, 27, 28 yards out. Wilson and Jimenez over it. If they get a goal here, Fulham, that could reignite a chance of maybe getting something out of this game. And it's surely now or never if they want to find any sort of chance of a comeback. This is a big moment. But it could turn out to a nothing moment if they don't get it right. It's going to be Raul Jimenez who's put it well over the bar. He certainly got it over the wall, but he didn't get it back down in time, and it goes behind. Goal kick. Yeah, it's just not been Fulham's day today. They are a good team. They've got good players. They have a good manager. They are a good Premier League side. Some interesting VAR decisions, at the very least. And at the same time, the goals coming at the perfect time for Chelsea. Just to have this game at their grasp all the way through. And Marco Silva, I'm sure, will reflect on tonight and think, what the hell went wrong, basically. That's what they'll have to ask themselves heading into the next number of games in the Premier League. After the international break, they host Leeds, host Brentford, head to Villa, then head to Bournemouth, then have a game against Arsenal and Newcastle. So not a completely easy run to come for Fulham. But the next two at home will be ones they will want and probably need to probably start to pick up wins in. It's going to be a foul. Trying to manage this to the final now. Whistle there, Chelsea, and Sasa Lukic a little bit too eager to get to the ball, and he's going to get a yellow card there from the referee. I have to say, Rob Jones won't go on the top of my list for performances today from a referee. Certainly not one of them the best I've seen all season. Definitely not. Andy, yes, I'll tell you about the 3 o'clock team news now. Man United Burnley. Still, Šeško is on the bench for Man United. It's that similar front three. Nothing too new about Man United's team there. Sunderland Brentford. Anything interesting coming out of that game, maybe? Nothing really from that one. I know what you're trying on about. Either Tottenham. Tottenham. There is not any interesting team news I can tell you about. No new signings involved so far. And that one. So at this minute in time, there will be no debuts today, it seems, for new signings made over the last 24 hours. Well, there's a bit of a celebrity inside Stamford Bridge. Timothy Chalamet, well known for many big films, including Wonka, of course, most recently. He's certainly not inconspicuous. He's tried the cap and the glasses technique, but they've still spotted him. Here's Smith Rowe, maybe trying to steal Chelsea's clean sheets. Harry Wilson tried to get it across there. He's got a corner off Chalobah. They take the corner short here, Fulham. Robinson's delivery. Flicked away by Caicedo in there. Tete keeps it alive. Round the corner it comes to Adama Traore. Flag stays down. Traore cuts onto his left. Has to reverse it back the way to Bassi. Out wide it goes. Fulham trying to get a goal. A consolation at least out of this one late. Smith Rowe stretches in. Wins the ball. Now Robinson. Robinson's cross. It's up and in the box still, but bouncing around. Nothing really coming of this, surely. And Chelsea end up dealing with the situation. And there is the final whistle. A game that really got away from Fulham. Decisions that Marco Silva will not be happy with when he looks back at them, I'm sure. I'm sure in the Silva household later tonight, match of the day will be the one thing they will be desperate to watch. To rewatch what has happened this afternoon. What went wrong for Fulham? Well, for Chelsea, they might have had to ride their luck at times, but it's João Pedro's header from a corner and Enzo Fernandez's penalty that has won this game for Chelsea. They've lost one of their signings of the summer, Liam Delap. That will be a concern for them heading into the international break. But for Chelsea, after 3 games and heading into that international break, they remain unbeaten. 2 wins out of 3. and 7 points out of a possible 9. For Fulham, still searching for that first win of the season, and this time they didn't have a comeback on the cards. They did in 2 previous weeks, but they didn't today, and Marco Silva right down the tunnel, and I can tell you, he is not in a good mood. Final score from Stamford Bridge in our first game of the weekend. It's finished Chelsea 2, Fulham 0. And let's have a quick look at what's coming up then across this Saturday afternoon. 3 o'clockers, Man United taking on Burnley, Brentford head to Sunderland, Tottenham host Bournemouth, and Wolves face Everton. Those are all 3 o'clocks. We'll have all the full-time scores from those when we join you a little later on for our evening coverage of Leeds United taking on Newcastle United. That's at Ellen Road tonight, 5:30. Do join us then, and we can talk about all the 3 o'clock kickoffs and as well about that game. Looking forward to that one a little later on. But that is it from us for now. Join us again, as I said, around about 5:20 this evening for that second commentary of the weekend. Hope you enjoy the 3 o'clockers. And I gotta say, Rob Jones, I'm sure, will want to avoid Fulham for quite a few weeks now, because I don't think he's going to be very popular. Chelsea get the results and the decisions, it seems, on the day. Fulham walk away empty-handed and with their tail between their legs. Bye-bye.